what Israel is carrying out is not merely an aggression. It is a war crime and a crime against humanity that is both documented and monitored, and it will be recorded in history books and the pages of international conscience as one of the most horrific chapters of humanitarian tragedy in the 20th and 21st centuries. In the West Bank, including East Jerusalem, the capital of the state of Palestine, the extremist Israeli government continues to implement its settlement policies through illegal settlement expansion and developing projects for annexing settlements. The latest was the construction plan for E1, which would divide the West Bank into two parts and would isolate occupied Jerusalem from its surroundings, and would undermine the option of the two-state solution in a blatant violation of international law and relevant Security Council resolutions, specifically Resolution 2334. Furthermore, the Israeli Prime Minister announced a plan for what he calls Greater Israel, which we reject and completely deplore. We urge all the states that have not done so yet to recognize the state of Palestine. We call on supporting Palestine obtaining full membership in the United Nations. It should be noted that we have already recognized Israel's right to exist in 1988 and in 1993. And we still recognize this right. In this regard, we would like to thank France, the UK, Canada, Australia, Belgium, Portugal, Luxembourg, Malta, Monaco, San Marino, Andorra, and Denmark for their recognition of the state of Palestine. The time has come for the international community to do right by the Palestinian people so that they may obtain their legitimate rights to be rid of the occupation and to not remain a hostage to the temperament of Israeli politics, which denies our rights and continue in their injustice, oppression, and aggression. We are continuing to move forward, and we will continue our peaceful, legal, and diplomatic fight to obtain our rights. In conclusion, we say to our sons and daughters in the homeland, in the exile, and in the diaspora, no matter how much our wounds bleed, and no matter how long the suffering lasts, it will not break our will to live and survive. The dawn of freedom will emerge, and the flag of Palestine will fly high in our skies as a symbol of dignity, steadfastness, and being free from the yoke of occupation. Palestine is ours.
Let's bring in our International Affairs editor, Dominic Waghorn, who joins us from New York. You got to New York, but Mahmoud Abbas didn't. The United States not providing the visas, so the Palestinian leader making that address from Ramallah in the West Bank. And it was notable that he was strident in his defence and determination for the Palestinian people, but also wasn't strident in any criticism of the US, instead saying he looked forward to being able to work with the Trump administration to try and achieve peace.
Yeah, I mean, given how spitefully he appears to have been treated by the Trump administration, as you say, he didn't have any harsh words for the American government. He has been spared some really bad weather that's moved into Manhattan now for the final days of the UN General Assembly, but also now denied the ability to address the Assembly in person. That has happened to Palestinian leaders in the past. Yasser Arafat had to also address the UNGA by video link. And in his address, Mahmoud Abbas delivered what you could describe really as a sort of comprehensive denunciation of both Hamas and the Israeli government. Hamas for its October the 7th atrocities, saying it was not the kind of action that most Palestinians supported, the massacre and kidnapping of so many Israeli civilians, men, women and children. And then he condemned the Israelis for carrying out what he said was a genocidal action in Gaza, the starvation of 2 million Gazans, the killing of tens of thousands of his Palestinian cousins in Gaza, and the war crimes that he believes Israel is carrying out there. Mahmoud Abbas is the president of the Fatah faction of Palestinian society, and we have to explain that, Palestinians are divided between Fatah, the PA that controls the bits of the occupied West Bank that Israel allows it to control, and Hamas that has controlled Gaza until this campaign against it by the Israelis. And the Israelis have tried very hard, particularly the Netanyahu government, to drive a wedge between Hamas and Fatah in a kind of divide and rule policy the Israelis have operated for a long time, a policy that came back to bite them very badly on October the 7th. Now, what Abbas is saying is that once the war is over, the PA, the bit of the Palestinian society and government he controls, is prepared to take over Gaza, and Gaza will be an unarmed entity, and Hamas will not be allowed to run it. That is kind of fantasy thinking on his behalf, but it's something that he has to say. And I think, Gareth, we have to sort of look at the kind of split screen moment that we've seen here. While he was speaking on Twitter and other social media, the flight path map of Benjamin Netanyahu's progress here from Israel was also being shown, and that showed a kind of route weaving its way in between the airspaces of European countries where he is at risk of being arrested because of the ICC war crime warrants out for him. And I think that sort of graphically illustrates the fact that Israel is so diplomatically isolated, but also America, in a sense as well, supporting Israel foursquare. And it kind of shows a very depressing impasse we're at in what you might want to call a peace process, but isn't a peace process at all, really, with an isolated Israel backed by an unpopular American government that's not supported by its European allies for its attitude to Israel, and then a Palestinian, more moderate leader denied access to the UN General Assembly.